And welcome to the Nilvah Nexus. jamestheidolsmasher at gmail.com. Good evening, everybody. Glad you could join us. Those who do, I appreciate it very much. And if you're new and just watching us for the first time, we try to gather every Thursday about this time, about 8 o'clock on Thursday nights, right here on the Idol Smasher channel on YouTube. Also, the Idol Smasher on Twitter, and you can get invites to the show where you, my favorite viewer, can join in the conversation. Here's something on here you want to join in. You have a question, you have something you could add, maybe, or whatnot. Any question, compliment, complaint, suggestion, please stop by and click that StreamYard link over there. If you're on YouTube or Facebook, it's on the invite. So you're welcome to come in if you're out there and you want to discuss something biblical, anything biblical. That's the big thing. Anything biblical, anything God related. Anything not God related, but is divinity related. I would love to have you come on here and let's talk. Let's learn from each other. That's what this whole thing was about to begin with. We don't have folks stopping by like we used to back in the good old days, Google Plus. But we still try to keep a presence on here, and we would love for you to join us. So, welcome to the show. Right now, this week's topic I wanted to discuss with you out there, even if it's just a brief moment here for a few minutes on YouTube and Facebook. I did want to discuss the death penalty and maybe get into some Parsha reading. We have it's Vayigash. It's when Judah takes responsibility and Joseph finally reveals himself, and everyone comes to Egypt. It's good stuff. We can get into that as well, and just the general state of the world. You'll notice that we didn't have a show last week, and the week before that show wasn't up because I might have blown my top a little bit, and there's so much I wanted to discuss that I can't discuss. And not right now. We got some legal things going on, but we'll take care of that. That's going to be taken care of. So we'll talk about that, and it's probably going to be funny by that time. Right now it's not as funny, but there you go. So we don't have a lot of new shows up, but that's mainly because it's the topics are heavy, and we might not be doing them live quite as often, quite as long. We'll try to keep a presence going up here from here forward, but the idea of this was to bring people in. Not everybody wants to discuss this kind of stuff anymore, especially when it puts religion on the line, all religion on the line. So you've got the word of God, and then there's your religion. Now let's see, what does God say? What are you doing? It's as simple as that. Also got some selections I've been flipping through. I haven't really been able to sit down and read too much during this little holiday break because I'm Mr. Mom in the daytime. I work at night. So it's just been a little crazy. And so I haven't been able to read through it, but I have been, taking notes and certain topics I want to know for personal benefit. But there's a few I thought I might get out there as well. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. What I want to know from you, and if you're watching this after when it's not live, if you're watching this when it's recorded, just put a comment down below and tell me why you think the West has abolished pretty much the death penalty. Why it's rarely ever used. What is it that made it go out of fashion? This is something that's been going on. Now, yes, we've used it the wrong way. I'm not going to say that we haven't flat out murdered people who had innocent people. I'm not saying the law hasn't allowed for innocent people to die. Shoot, the law allows for innocent people to go to jail. And I know it's not supposed to be that way, but tell me, what do you think? Why did it go out of style? Why did it come up to, oh, we're just as bad as they are? Oh, what did he do? He murdered 3 kids and their mother. Oh, we can't kill him. That makes us a murderer like him. Really? Really? Is this what school teaches you kids? Or is this something your mom and dad never covered properly when you were young? I don't understand myself. I wouldn't trust a court to find an innocent or a guilty man. Maybe that might change my mind soon. Right now, I have absolutely no faith in our justices, or what are our pathetic excuse for a justice system in the United States right now. So the reason why I don't like the death penalty in this particular case is because, like I say, I don't think it's a just system. So we wouldn't know criminal from, unless it's obvious, but for the most part, justice is a joke. And so I'm against the death penalty on that, but in principle, I am so pro death penalty, it's not even funny. I don't see why a pedophile shouldn't be murdered. Not murdered, killed, put to death, put to sleep. That was a nice way they put it back in the day. Remember the grumpy old man? People like getting out of me, put to sleep. That's just a nice way of saying whack them. What happened to us? Did we just become complacent, or were this just people up at the top doing what they do without us as a culture? I think we've been directly affected. People say that all the time. I remember a Big Shirt in the 90s, late 90s. I remember seeing, and it was also brought up when I was at school and whatnot back then. But if you want to call it school, it was an art institute. But, eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It puts my eye at equal value as yours. Across the board, human to human. Not even a Hebrew eye is worth more than a non-Hebrew eye. Something I've postulated and worked on, because my take on Torah and the law, and it really does evolve and it does change. So I can't just get into halakha, but alone. But from what I found over the years, the reason why we need a death penalty is not to discourage it from happening. We aren't discouraged from being really crummy living creatures. Human beings we are not jewels by any stretch of the imagination on this planet. So I don't really think the urge to murder and rob, the big ones, when it comes to how we treat, you might not believe in God, but you know better than to stab your neighbor, So, when it comes to robbery, murder, premeditated murder, things of that nature, bestiality, illicit sexual behavior, certain aspects of illicit sexual behavior. When you allow someone like that to live, they're a dead weight on the living consciousness of the people. I don't know how, it can't sound stupid, of the people. It's who else is going to be the birds? Someone needs to die, and they are alive. They are feeding off the system. They are a dead weight in any sort of, I believe they need to go back to their maker. They need to, the reason why I would want a murderer, I'm not saying somebody kills, I mean someone who lies in wait, deliberately takes the life of another human being for whatever reason other than self-defense or saving the life of an innocent, that they premeditately, and you take the life of another human being. Murder, murder one. Okay, let's just get past all the hokey BS we learned in college. Okay, we're talking murder one. When you let them live, you're preventing their own soul from being cleansed, if you will. You prevent, there's one aspect of what we would call hell in Judaism where you're basically cleansed as if by fire, because you are so gunked up that there's, if you're not evil enough to be destroyed, you're going to have to be, hosed, like sandblasted with fire to get you clean. And then you have to come back and do it all again, or to fulfill the purpose for which God made you. So on that aspect, using that as a reference when it comes to explaining a spiritual notion. Shalom, shalom, Rosalie. Come on in. I'll be right done here in a second.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. They're delayed from becoming clean and being able to fulfill their place in the world. When you keep them here, you're just making it longer for the inevitable. They're a drain on the system. They do nothing good for anybody by being alive. They've already done something that's horrific, and they don't get a chance. And the other people, you stick with them. That's the other thing I like about our justice system, is we like to put a bunch of people, bunch of men and women too, but men in warehouses, where they can be deprived of the company of women for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Then we can release them out into the world. It's just filthy. and you're not helping these people by allowing them to be filthier and filthier and filthier. You can say that you've rehabilitated and that they've thought about what they've did. They've been away for a long time. They know they deserve being there, but now they're giving us. You don't give people like that a second chance. They don't deserve one. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. I believe that a person can change. I believe that you can murder and move on, maybe never be caught for the rest of your life, and you can move on. A great movie, Woody Allen movie, Crimes and Misdemeanors. One of the greatest pieces of work put on film, in my opinion. It's for Woody Allen movie. It's good. There's a lot better movies. That's a really, really good film. You can do it and get away with it, but there's still something lacking. You're not moving forward. The society that keeps you alive isn't moving forward. And what's in their minds about how bad is murder when it comes to prevention? How bad? Oh, well, you can die for murder. Let's just say, you can die from bestiality. Okay, so it lets you know right up front, even as a young person learning this, is like, oh, that's bad. That's not having a roasted pork sandwich on rye. Not the same. The sin factor. Oh, that's an actual sin. Oh, okay. Oh, you had a cheeseburger, and okay, yeah. So, Rosalie, question for you, my friend. Why do you think Western society has moved away from the death penalty? Why, and had the attitude we had when it's rather biblical? And although we might have abused it in the past, it was at least certain things you had to die for, might have for a good reason. Why do you think we've moved away from that completely in Western society?
Because the cleep is getting thicker, and the Mashiach is coming. That's my thoughts on it. But I mean, the Jews pray. I mean, if they've got somebody who's a constant sinner or whatever, they will turn around and say, pray for that person to die. So, and hope that they do die so they don't continue sinning. That's the reason for that. But that's the Jewish way of looking at it. But God has his own plans. But
right.
Other than that, not enough God out there. God's there, but not enough people looking at him. He's being blocked. Because we are basically getting into end times. And that's, come on, Mashiach.
Yeah, without it's funny, we've been able to sort of the intellectual community for, I don't know, past 30, 40 years has kind of been able to laugh at some of the old dogmas of religion. The Mishnah where Eve is talking to the serpent, and she said, I'm not even allowed to, God said not to touch the tree. Well, I think there's a midrash that said, well, the snake just bumped her into it and say, see, you're alive. Well, God never said don't touch it or you'll die. He said, don't eat from it. She touches it and thinks, oh, well, what else is God wrong about? And we've been able to, especially the development in science and cosmology and, I don't know, the discovery of light and a few other things, over the course of a few hundred years, we've been able to kind of laugh at the church's old dogmas that held society together. The sad thing is we've had nothing in place. And that distance from God, even the thought of God in the mind, in society, that there is an
too much idol worship.
Huh?
Too much idol worship. They've gotten away. Can you hear me or no?
I can hear you.
I was going to say too much idol worship. And even the idols aren't even working. So man's turning away from them as well.
Yeah. Even the bad magic sucks nowadays, right? Even the dark stuff is just diluted. Wow.
Yep.
I actually got to hang with Yohanan for a little while the other day.
Did you? Good.
Yeah, he and Sam were talking, and they were discussing how we could be going through a magnetic reversal of the pole, or magnetic reversal, and which could shake
the poles flip. Oh yeah. It's coming. I've been talking about the pole shift for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yep.
the anomaly in space. I mean, they call it Planet X, but apparently it's not. It's something. They call it a planet, but I've looked
Right.
into this, and I don't know. Something could very well shake us to our foundations, and it's coming. Yeah.
Yep. It's coming.
They're
I mean,
talking
look at
about
it this way. It was 20 degrees below zero wind chills up here last week. And today it's 52 degrees.
same here.
So we've got a blending of, exactly. We have a blending of seasons, which is something that was talked about as well, because the Earth is wobbling because Planet X is apparently 4 times bigger than Earth. And it has a very huge like oval shape. We go around in a circle around the sun. Planet X goes out in an oval and then comes back. And during this time, like every 3,600, 3,700 years, it gets close enough to Earth, goes around the sun, comes back up. And it already did that. Now it's on its way back out, say, like towards Pluto. It's getting close to getting onto that, back to that. And since its south pole, since it's a bigger planet than us, its south pole is magnetic, is messing with our north pole magnetic and making the Earth wobble. And once it gets past us, the poles will shift. It's like the top ground will more or less slide, and there's been many pole shifts. One of them, people do believe that when Noah's flood was there, that was part of a pole shift, and possibly when the Jews were wandering around in the desert for 40 years, there could have possibly been one there as well. But I mean, this is a catastrophic thing. It's a normal phenomenon. We just don't know about it. I mean, there's no Incas to talk about it, and they tried to predict it, and they got it wrong. But I mean, if you look like they've done excavations in where is it, in like Alaska and things like this, you'll come across coconuts and things like that, you know, and warmer creatures. They weren't prepared for the pole to flip and for the land masses to break up, and they weren't prepared for the cold. Now, the prediction that they are saying is that Recife down in South America, Brazil, is that around there? I don't think it's Brazil, but I could be wrong. It's supposed to be like will be the new North Pole. And the majority of the continents, with the exception of maybe 2, will be down in the southern hemisphere. Most of the land area will be in the southern hemisphere. And if you can imagine Alaska just having the tilt the way it is, part of Alaska will be closer to our equator, and everything else up north like that. There's also supposed to be new land masses that are going to be coming about. Yeah, so it's
Well, I didn't know
people
about
have known
that.
about this since the 80s. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, they've showed maps of what they think that it's going to look like. And if you look down on one of them that I saw, it has a, a copyright date of 1985 or 1984 on the picture that they had predicted what the United States is supposed to look like and all this. Yeah, it's going to be devastating. And that's where the main thing they're saying, like, possibly 2/3 of the planet's population is going to be wiped out. And all this. So, it's extremely interesting.
They were talking about how you hear the Western, I guess, Christian context, Gabriel blowing his horn.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
what that actually is that with the land stretching in the mountains and all that, they have heard echoings like horn blowing. on the Scandinavian areas and all this. So
Mhm.
that's what they're calling that. But
Yeah, it
it's,
was well.
I mean, right now there's land stretch and everything else like this. This is why you're seeing, I mean, I took an earthquake course in college and from UC Berkeley online.
Nice.
And I have noticed an extreme uptick over the last few years in earthquakes. Now you will see frequently more category fives,
Yeah.
five magnitudes, more so than not. And it used to be, remember, I used to talk about them when we were doing before. Well, it's 2.3. Yeah, well, they're getting up to threes. Yep. Now they're up to fours. Now they're between fours and fives, and we've even seen some 6 and 7s even bigger. Those are still few, but I mean, it's like the earth is stretching because of this magnetic pole of planet X until it gets around. It's like the next thing to look forward to is the ripping of the New Madrid fault line, which is up the Mississippi River, and it goes up the Mississippi River and then cuts over to the St. Lawrence Seaway. And they said it could be as wide as 30, 40 miles down Louisiana and all that area through there.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, it could widen up that much. It'd be like, say, all of the eastern seaboard would be almost like its own island, for a better lack of a term. And yeah, so there's that.
Yeah. Yeah, the
And
humming, the
it's like,
whining. I thought that was interesting. That's
no,
they're
it
saying
just
they're like it was coming out of caves. They're hearing it in more, deep
oh
caverns.
yeah,
That
hmm
this hum,
yeah,
this whine, I've heard people catch it on YouTube. Of course, it's YouTube. It can be produced. You never know. You can't always trust
right,
it, but
exactly, yes,
still, I've known some people who
yeah.
I
But this is
trust on that.
supposedly a natural phenomenon.
Well, that's what it takes to shake the world and wake us
Yeah,
up. Hate to think like that, but good gravy,
pretty
we need
much.
something.
Yeah.
Something's got to be
Well, everything is, like I said, everything's in God's demand. It's like, okay, it's His plan, His planet.
true.
Everything is His. What are you gonna do?
The best you can.
Right. Can you give me a couple minutes? I gotta go let my dogs outside,
Yeah,
and I'll
take
be
care
right
of
back.
business.
Okay.
All right. If you're watching, and
Okay. I'll be right back.
hey, it looks like we have a whole mess of people watching out there. They're just not watching us. Please feel free to. If you're watching on Facebook, there's a link there. If you're on Twitter watching this, we actually get a viewer or two over there once in a while. You can go to the YouTube channel, and in the comment section is a link to what we're doing in here. If you want to come in and be part of the conversation. If there's something you want to bring up, something we're missing, please, we'd love to have you in here. We want to hear from you. We'll check on a few things right here and see. Oh, there we are. Okay, well, yeah, a whole mess of people on YouTube watching other people's stuff. But we're glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. Every Thursday night, and so far, me and Rosalie pretty much handle this, but you, my favorite viewer, are always invited. This is pretty good stuff, and it's going to get a little. It's a little more. I think it's just a better book for introduction. Dennis Prager is very much into the Ten Commandments. I like this book. This is a good one. You need to get. It's the third installment. I have the other two as well, and two more on the way, God willing. It's the Rational Bible. It's Dennis Prager's commentary, and you can look in the notes, and everything's cited. This isn't just him talking about his opinions on what this opinion or no. He straight up. He's got my mom and he's the Talmud. You've got biblical verses he's talking about and getting. For instance, he's in Deuteronomy, and one of the reasons why he gives a commentary is. He gets out of 1 Kings 11:9. Some of them are great biblical scholars, the modern age. Some of them are historians of old. So he's not. This isn't just Dennis Prager on the Bible. He's actually giving a worthwhile commentary. Let's see. here we go. Okay. One of the things I wanted to read to you here tonight, and this is from the Rational Bible. It's just an excerpt, kind of give you a little taste and give me something to talk about while the lady's taking care of business here.
I'm back.
Okay, great. I'm reading a little something from here real quick.
What is it? I can't see it.
Oh, it was the
What are we reading?
Rational Bible, Deuteronomy.
Okay.
I was looking through it and just found some stuff, and I figured I'd get on this real quick for just to be something. It talks about the curse of disobedience. We're in Deuteronomy 28, verse 15. But if you do not obey the Lord your God to observe faithfully all his commandments and the laws which I enjoin upon you this day, all these curses shall come upon you and take effect. The remainder of this chapter consists of a long list of curses that would befall the Jewish people if they failed to heed God's commandments. Because those curses are so numerous and so appalling, when they are chanted in synagogue as part of their weekly Torah portion, the reader chants them quickly and quietly so that they are barely audible.
Okay, which chapter are we in again?
This is Deuteronomy. This is Dennis Prager's on Deuteronomy 28:15.
28. Okay. I heard the 8, but I was going to say, no, that ain't right. All right, 15.
There's a variety of 8s.
Yes, gotcha. 15. Yeah. Got it.
All the curses involve collective punishment. This is a simple rule of life. When a nation violates God's moral law, everyone, not just the evildoers, will suffer. This truism should provide people with a selfish reason, in addition to obvious idealistic ones, to fight evil. Good people need to understand that they suffer no matter what. They suffer at the hands of evil, and they suffer when the evil are confronted. Good Germans suffered at the hands of Nazis and suffered at the hands of the Western Allies and Russians. That is why good people must fight evil in their societies as early as possible, but they rarely do. Most good people are not fighters. There's another reason all these curses involve collective punishment. No one would have believed that every individual who disobeyed would pay a price in this world. People in the ancient world would recognize just as well as they do today that not every evildoer is punished in this life for his bad behavior. 28:16, cursed shall you be in the city and cursed shall you be in the country. Many of the curses mirror blessings of this chapter. This verse mirrors verse 3. Blessed shall you be in the city and blessed shall you be in the country. No matter where people live or go, they will not be able to evade these curses. Now, the section I want to really get to, and it's just the next couple of verses, in a bit, we read, listed punishments are of this world, not the next. 18, cursed shall your basket and your kneading bowl. Cursed shall be your basket and kneading bowl. That's how close these things he's talking to you. The curses relate primarily to food, weather, and disease, all the things of this world, not to mention, or no mention is made of punishment in the hereafter. While the Hebrew Bible affirms the afterlife, in his opinion, the Torah de-emphasizes it. One reason is Egyptian preoccupation with the next world, and another is to help ensure that people be preoccupied with this life. Given the pain and suffering that afflict most people's lives, it is very tempting to ignore this world and to the extent possible, and focus on the next. Furthermore, in Moshe's time, and perhaps in ours as well, this world punishments would engender greater fear in people. Another reason all these punishments are of this world is that they are collective. There are no collective punishments in the next world, only individual ones. Cursed shall be the issue of your womb, and the produce of your soil, the calving of your herd, and the lambing of your flock. Cursed shall you be in your comings, and cursed shall you be in your goings. Something else we have ignored. This kind of the reason why I'm like death penalty. because the curses are here now. Because there are things that we do that are gonna make life crap.
Mhm.
Look at look at
Oh yeah.
look at
Well,
the
look at
churches.
Noah's time. Look at Noah's time. You know what? God just said He wouldn't destroy the earth by flood. He didn't say He wouldn't destroy it any other way.
Yeah, there are more elements than water.
That's
I
right.
mean,
I mean, look at Egypt. They had fire and ice together on Egypt that He was going to drop. It's still there. He just hasn't dropped it yet.
yeah. What was the other thing? If you want a new crop, and I've seen them do it, you burn the earth. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest. You don't have to. I mean, yes, they say, well,
Well,
the flood is a replenishing thing, and fire cleanses, and fire's good for
oh yeah, it does.
yeah.
Hmm.
So
Oh yes, it is. I mean, I've driven to Arkansas right after winter wheat service. They burn all the chaff off, and then they plant soybean.
yeah, that's what they do out here. Yeah, a lot of
And
soybean.
so what do? They plow all that chaff under, so they have like nitrogen for the soil, and then replant. Yeah, that was the funniest thing. It smelled like butterscotch. We drove through it at night, and it looked really weird. And the funniest thing was, this is the day we did it. It's like it was about 10 o'clock at night, so it was already dark. So it says, "Welcome to Arkansas, home of Bill Clinton," and then it says fresh oil along because they oil the sides of the road to keep the dust down, and all the acreage is on fire. I'm going. I want to sit here for about 10 minutes and watch this whole side of the road go up in flames. I
Oh
wasn't
man,
allowed.
I was the
Yeah,
first
but
time I saw them
that was funny.
burning at night, though. I mean, that's some scary
Yeah.
stuff. I drove by.
Mm-hmm.
I was off 96 out here, and it was basically a mushroom cloud. I guess they just had recently
Wow.
burned it, and I'm just driving home, and I had to get off the road and go find it. But yeah, I mean, because that fire just kept going up and making a big poof up top. It was a
Yep.
mushroom cloud over a farm. They're just burning the crop.
Right.
That's some eerie stuff.
Yep. Yep. Getting the nitrogen ready for the ground. Hey, if you're gonna have snow and everything, and you got a great deal of water, do it now and let it go so that it soak down in the ground for months. You know. Yeah, that makes sense.
You think there's anything we can do? Is there anything we can do to, you think, maybe to alleviate some of what our nation would be? They say there's a guardian angel for every nation. Do you think that
Yeah, that's a
we're
scary thought. Yeah.
redeemable?
I mean, there are angels everywhere. There's supposedly an angel for every blade of grass. Okay. They might be little bitty. This is where maybe the Irish or whatever think the fairies are, or the gnomes or whatever. But there's supposedly an angel for ouch, cat, for every blade of grass. And so you can imagine 1,000 of angels running around that you can't even see. It's like, okay, who are we stomping out today? That a cool thing. But until man's heart softens, I don't know if God's doing it or if it's just a man thing right now. And it's like there were like 49 steps or something like that, or 48 steps, and you got to the 49th one, and that was it. And God started, and we're awful close. This sitting and everything like this. I can't remember where that's at, but I'm sure it's in the Talmud somewhere. And like I said, when even the idols aren't even appeasing the people anymore, what are you going to do?
I shouldn't laugh. That's brilliant. Yeah. uh,
Oh, that's okay. I've been sitting here fuming, doing the Kabbalistic thing, and it's like, okay, right now, I mean, it was really strong with this week's Parsha. And it's like, okay, we've got all the players and we've got the players that are at least for the Parsha. And how do we set this up? And it's like, I'm having a problem with the men. The women are no problem. The men are the ones that are the problem. And right now, because like I said, this sounds so funny even to say it. It's like Donald Trump has got to be Messiah ben Joseph right now. His brothers hated him. Everybody hates this man. Everybody wants him in jail. They want him gone. Now, for Messiah on the women's side, and who's the biggest one there? Nancy Pelosi. And right now, because this was a toss-up between Elon Musk, right now he's sitting in Elijah's place because he's coming through and finding all these errors and all this, and he's being this truth sayer and he's being the prophet. And you got Kamala Harris, who's not doing a damn thing, so she's got to be Rachel, because but Rachel came and gone, right? Rachel was there and then she was gone. So it's like, and again with Joseph, Trump's got the two sons, the older and the young. And like I said, it just fits into this week's Parsha. And that is like, I've been wanting to talk about this all weekend. It's like, okay, no one to talk about it too. So it's like, well, if you can have your little thingy, I'm doing my little thingy. Not saying I'm right, but it kind of makes sense in a way if you're watching how things are going, And it's like, okay. It's like Pelosi's Potiphar's wife. Ta-da. She wanted Joseph and she's getting rid of him the best way she can. I mean, just think about everything there. It makes sense. They keep trying to throw his ass in jail and he doesn't do anything wrong. So she's Potiphar's wife. And yeah, I've been having fun this week with this whole thing. I'm thinking about it. It's been making me nuts half the time because I want to talk to somebody about it. There's someone to talk about too. So, and so there was that. Today I've been today I've been electronically challenged. Oh, I was good until about 4 o'clock this afternoon, which has been 3 o'clock your time. And it's like, okay, here we go. My cash register didn't want to work. Everybody else's stuff doesn't want to work. So it's like, okay, I go to help, can't help them. Didn't make anything worse. That was the good news. So then I go and we have to turn in our money and count our drawers and all this. And of course, it's electronically done. I get $100 bills jammed up in the money changer, and I broke the money changer. I got it fixed. It took about 10 minutes to get that all figured out and got that back together. Then I go back and punch out and I go, cool, overtime, no worries. I get back there. It took me 7 tries to punch out to get out. It's like, that's why I'm late coming to here, because I couldn't leave. It's like, okay, everything happens for a reason. I'm not supposed to be leaving right now. Okay. I can't do my shopping while I'm still on the clock, but you know what? Okay, I'll just sit here and wait. So about 7 or 8 after 8 o'clock, I get to punch out. Normally I'm punching out at 10:02. So there's 20 minutes. It's like, okay, I still got to do my shopping. I got half of the things that I wanted to get. I can get the rest of them tomorrow. That's not a problem. Because my mother's turning 85 on Saturday. And it's like, okay, I'm trying to.
Happy birthday, Mom.
This is it. Yeah, she'll be 85. And she wants Brandy Alexander, so I had to get some ice cream. Okay, we got everything else, but I had to get some ice cream for her. And the dog, she cooks chicken breasts for the dogs as supplement for their food. So I got a good deal on some chicken breasts, and so there's that.
Good.
I got it, and I'm going up to the self check. I said, "So help me God, if you fuck up, I'm gonna be mad." I'm gonna be mad. No hitches that way. Apparently, the hitches stopped once I punched out. So there's that. Yeah, just like 2 feet of snow is gone. Yeah. 2 feet of snow is gone. That's good. No more ice. No more. You didn't have to do the driveway. Nothing. Just let it all melt. hopefully there's no flooding. I noticed that the one major river is up to the banks, so I don't know if it's going to crest or not with all the snow and everything. It doesn't look like there's anything jammed, so that's a positive. But I don't know what trees have fallen down and what hasn't. But as far as ice jams go, I didn't see any that looked that it would be too detrimental. Yeah, because
Yeah, Israel's flooding too. I just saw I saw guys like inner tubing down the river or down the middle of Tel Aviv.
Cool. Hey, get your rain in your season. It's your season.
Yeah, just wow.
Yeah, I was wondering how did John and them guys, how did John do with all the snow and all that? Because they got dumped on really well. Everything comes off of Lake Erie and hits Buffalo and all that. It's like, oh man.
I looked.
Buffalo, New York, and goes up the coast. It's like,
I don't know. He's not on Facebook anymore.
Yeah, it's got to 53 now. I don't know.
Yeah, can't find him. He's unable to be reached on
Well,
Messenger.
he might not have He might not have electricity right now. Who knows?
Johanna, if you're out there, I hope you're safe. If you are
Yes,
safe, why don't you come in and say hi?
That'd be nice.
Or you can come in and say hi too. You don't have to be John. You're welcome to come in. Yep. We've got a couple of people watching. No comments yet, but I want to ask you while you are watching, what are your thoughts? Why did we drift away from the death penalty? And do you support it? And why? Comment below. We'd love to hear your opinion. Hear what you have to say. That's why we do this thing every Thursday. Yeah. Oh, my technology. I'm not using it well myself. I
just had a bad thought. I had a bad thought. Yeah, they can't erase it. They've got all this windmill power, so they can't, and windmill power isn't working, so they can't zap anybody. I'm sorry. That was bad. I know. I'll shut up. Welcome to Texas. You're free. Okay. You ain't going out that way.
Oh, yeah. How about a half tour?
That works. All right.
We'll wrap up our conversation. Let's see. Vegas. Was it? Right. I'll be reading out of the Stone Edition as always. 1144.
Vegas. Ezekiel 37 through 15 is what I've got down to 28.
Yep. Zeke. I love Zeke just because it's such a cool name. Zeke.
Oh, Rabbi Reuven had a really, really super good talk yesterday. If you get to hear it, he talks about Ezekiel. He talks about a lot of things. And some of the things that you are talking about, he covered last night. So really? If you have a chance, so if you have a chance to go to Bezrat Hashem, or if you have that podcast down there, or I posted the links in my thing. Yeah, watch it. Yeah, it's good. We'll talk more after we're done.
Shalom, everyone. How you guys been? It's been a long time.
Hello, Frank.
Hello, Mr. Green.
Good. I'm doing all right.
Happy New Year!
Yes, I wanted to actually see you guys before New Year's, and I saw your stream, and I'm like, oh, let me check it out.
And for the Jewish people who are there, be careful of Sylvester, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Because the New Year is not a good thing for Jewish people. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's funny because talking about that, my sister is actually Jewish, my older sister. And I contacted her today, and she was kind of like saying, "Hey, how you doing? What are you going to do for the New Year's?" So it's funny. It's funny how you say that, but Yeah, I don't really. Me personally, I don't really care. New Year's was a place where I used to be like, oh, can I go work? Because nobody was willing to work that day. So I was like, but I ended up sleeping. Yeah, I always ended up sleeping. There was some New Year's that was nice, but it was more like more people will celebrate it. But I was never like, oh, let's celebrate New Year's. I was never like that. Yeah, I didn't really care about. I never really cared about it.
See, I'd rather do New Year's than Christmas.
Yeah.
New Year's was just an excuse for me to go drink and act a fool until I was about 22 and realized that just ain't working out.
Of course.
It's for me. It's closure.
Closure.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, I got to ask you the question of the day. What do you think, with the discussion, obviously, in the a death penalty? What, considering God does bring it up quite often for certain things, and it was always a part of life but in the Western world, we've kind of, especially in the past 100 years or so, we've gotten away from that. And so I was, I'm just wondering, what are your thoughts on that? And do you think it's a good thing that it's happening? And yeah. So
I'm in the field of, I'm like on the social field of care. Like I dealt with people who did horrid things. Like I can't even tell you. However, I'm always on the side of rehabilitation. I am not for the death penalty at all. Maybe back then it was necessary. I think environments sometimes, let's say if we were like in like some world that resources was scarce, there was constant war, maybe the death penalty would be sufficient in order to deter certain behaviors in order for survival. But I don't think that's necessary at this day and age. I think we're learning more about human beings as time goes on. So like I always put the approach of anti-death penalty. I'm not for it at all. Regardless of the crime.
Okay.
Regardless of the crime. That's my opinion. Yeah, that's definitely my opinion. Yeah.
Okay. What do we do with them when we don't kill them?
Well, definitely that we lock them up in a dangerous society.
Sure.
Yeah, that's the thing. But to actually end their lives, up to a point like, let God handle that. But as civilization, I don't think the death penalty does anything, at this day and age. There's a lot of people who still do a lot of crimes, regardless if we have the death penalty or not. Yeah. So I don't think it solves any issue. Maybe back in the days, maybe back over there, it probably was necessary, but I think times has changed. And, it's a hard question for me, like, because I put myself in the situation. Let's say somebody went and killed and raped my daughter or something like that. I would want to kill him, but for the state to do that, I don't know. I'm still against it,
Yeah, I'm like in principle to some degree. I'm for it. However, that's very idealistic of me, and going back to the text and all that good stuff. But in reality, when you look at it in reality, when you say it doesn't do much, it does. Because people are still going to murder, people are still going to rob. There's that, and then there's the. I'm not so sure that we, at this point in time, understand a fair and balanced court. You know what I'm saying? Where we could know that this person is truly has to be put to death. I'm not sure that we have that we could tell innocent from guilt in our court cases sometimes.
Correct.
So I'm not, you don't want to put an innocent person to death. I don't care if you just don't. You can't do that. So you have to be very careful. I'm not so sure that we're careful enough to bring back the death
No,
penalty.
there's been cases, of people who are innocent and been put to death, and I think that was a big deterrent for me. When I was hearing stories like that, so yeah, I think I think we are becoming more humane, even in the death penalty, which, even though I'm against it, I would rather be done in a humane way, if not the case. But yeah, I think people, countries that don't have the death penalty, they do pretty well as far as I know. But at the same time, I could say that there's certain countries that actually implement the death penalty and it works for them. Like some place, yeah, it works for them. So yeah, it's a very, I feel strong in the sense I'm against it, but I'm not
very European.
Yeah, I guess so. You got me very European.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, they got a lot.
I mean, you got the Nazis doing their thing. You got off with their heads on the other. Hey.
Yeah.
They're all just sick of it now.
Hey.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
a strange world, but I have faith. I have faith, man. I have faith.
I just
things
had
will
a
get better. Maybe it's going to get worse before it gets better. So somebody explained that to me one time. It's like, I don't know if you ever heard a guy named Terrence McKenna, but he was into psychedelics. But he said something really interesting one time. He said that, when you see, say, society, going through this chaos, and you see this, it's like the world's going through their birth pains, right? You're going through this birth, and there's a lot of chaos and friction, and then, but at the end, there's something new coming from it. So that's the way I kind of see it. If I see the world chaotic, I could see it almost like, it's almost biblical. It is biblical in some sense, because it talks about the apocalypse, and apocalypse basically in Greek, what it means, revealing of the truth, right? Something in that sense. So I think it's the same way. I think probably we're going through this birth pain, and with all this chaos, the hope is, the faith is that something beautiful will come out of this. Some growth will come out of this. And growing is not easy. It's not an easy thing. It's a painful thing. Life is like that.
Yeah, I get my best friend is convinced that we are upon the golden age. He said it's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
and it's like it'll
I
take
agree with that.
a bit of a catastrophe, but we're at the point now where if that catastrophe were to happen, we would handle it better than we've handled it in civilization, thousands of years ago. That if a cataclysm is to happen, which Rosalie and I were talking about earlier, that
shift, yeah,
that we're gonna grab a hold of each other, and that's what's gonna bind us finally as a people, and we can move out of that cycle we've been in for so long. Mm-hmm. That's my speculation. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, bring it on, please. Like stave off the ants. Yeah. I'm like, not me, bring it on, please. Let's get to it. I mean, the Bible speaks of a time when disease, people live longer. They can work on art and science and you take a little bit longer in life. You can just sit back and really and just smell the roses, and it'll be a different world. And that's what I want. That's what I want my kids to survive. So, because that sounds nice. We could have that now if we wanted, but
no, we're not ready for that yet. I don't think we're ready for something like that yet. I think we have to go through certain things in order for us to be ready. We have to go through some, like you say, like growing pains.
They were saying birth pains of the Messiah.
Birth pains of the Messiah. Yes. Yes, definitely.
That era.
I hope he comes in the alien spaceship. That's my. That is,
He's coming on Planet X.
Everybody love it. Come on, you can do better than that, Lord. Come on, I saw this in a movie.
If he comes in an alien spaceship, then I think it will bring people together. Be like, all right, it can bring everyone together. Yeah,
It will scare the hell out of people.
Well, scare the hell out of people. If he came out falling from the sky, it wouldn't. There'll still be speculation. I really believe that. But if he came in the alien spaceship, I think people would be on board with that. Just my thing.
It's Independence Day.
Yes. Yeah. The scientists will think he's some alien thing. We probably will think he's the Messiah. Everybody will be happy.
Tell them guys give their planes a virus.
It's
a computer. Give it a virus. All right.
Yeah.
You're right. That would make everybody happy, right? Muhammad rose to heaven. Jesus rose to heaven. He's finally coming back. The atheists and the nerds, they'll be happy.
Yeah,
they've been sharing all their lives.
Now everything makes sense.
That's great hope, man. That's good hope for the future.
Yeah, it's good. I think this year, this solar year, is going to be a nice year. It's going to be a quick year, but I think it's going to be a good year. It's going to be good because it's quick.
We could use a good year here.
Right.
We really could.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You get older and the years get quicker. So, hey.
Mm-hmm. I think you get older in some days. And some days I feel young. Some days I feel old. I've been keeping healthy, so I'm feeling good.
I've gotten 45 pounds off since last New Year's.
You look great, actually. You look really good.
Thank you.
I think I found it. Damn it.
No, but yeah, 45. I've been able to keep it off, and I'm working nights now, so I get a little more activity. But portion control and watching a little bit what you eat, and you'd be surprised. I can do stretches I couldn't do a year ago. Some martial art, some stuff. Some of it's
nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, geez, my knee hasn't gone that far. I haven't been able to do this. Whoa, I'm still flexible. If I just didn't have all this fat stopping me, hey, that works.
Yeah, that fat is really hard to get off, but it is
possible.
Yeah,
lots of hydration, portion control, better diet.
No, I hear you.
If anybody out there who's it can be done.
Yes,
but we're coming up on the hour mark, so and we're moving into in the Western calendar. This is like a time we mark. It's kind of like we've come out of that halfway through the dark. We've pat each other on the back, and now we're looking forward to the new year. So for the folks out there anticipating this mark, any final words, Rosalie, before we get out of here? For our viewers.
This is our last one of the year. I get to say I'll see you next year.
All right then. That'll work. Frank, any final thoughts of the show? Thank you for coming in, by the way. It's we're blessed to have you here.
I'm really happy that I'm here, actually. So
good. We're glad to have you.
It's right before the solar year, and really good to actually see you. And I am hoping that we see each other even more, and we do this more.
Oh man, I'll take that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's try. Dennis Prager had a thing not too long ago. He said that talking about Christmas, this is an Orthodox Jew who loves Christmas, or a religious Jew loves Christmas and is in full support of it, adores it. And I've always been the bah humbug. And
I was too. It's funny. I was too. I'm trying to change my mind a little bit.
He was saying that that what they're doing at this time is that you have to make happiness happen. You have to make it happen. And at the darkest and the most stressful time of the year, people are going out of their way, and they've been doing it for a while, and they do it in other cultures. But what we do here in America is Christmas, and and you should support it because you're making people. You have to make happiness of some sort. So this year, I bugged maybe 10 minutes one day, but the rest of it I spent cleaning the house for Lisa and the family and whatnot, and just getting everything and just trying to make, and it really does work. So make happiness this year. It takes work to do it, but it's worth the work. Making happiness. Think about that. All right. That's it. We're on the hour. Frank, would love to see you around. I would love to see you soon. Rosalie,
Definitely.
you as well. We're going to skedaddle
Shabbat
on out of
shalom,
here.
everybody.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Be
Shabbat
well. We'll see you
shalom.
next time.